with the composition. In the last class, we learned how to relate this equilibrium constant with the composition. So we wrote the reactions for gas phase and liquid phase, and we related this equilibrium constant. So for gas phase reaction, we can see this is the applicable equations if you make simplifications for ideal gas. So otherwise, this is a general equation which relates this equilibrium constant to the fugacity coefficient and composition of the component. Now this is with simplification if you take the ideal gas. Now similarly for liquid phase reactions, if you write K equal to pi I Fi cap over Fi naught to the power nim I. So this is the general definition of equilibrium constant, and if you apply this Fi cap over Fi naught for liquids, so then you can write these fugacities values, and finally you obtain this expression, this one. For with the simplification of the ideal gas solution, you have this one 14.33. But just if you want to precisely calculate what is the change in the fugacity when the pressure changes, then you have to derive this expression 14.31. So this expression shows the change in pressure. So when there is a change in pressures from the standard state to the actual reaction conditions, so this exponential term will be important. Otherwise, if there is a huge difference, pressure difference, then only this exponential term will be important. If there is a very less pressure difference in between the actual reaction pressure and the standard state pressure, so this exponential term will be almost unity. So there is no significance of this. That's why this becomes simply this one. So I already told you by writing the basic definition of equilibrium constant in terms of fugacity, I converged directly to this. So this the method of books is slightly differing from my method, but you should note it that you can write this fugacity for the gas phase reactions, and you can simplify that for ideal gas. And when the this gas mixture is behaving as ideal solution, and see there any gaseous mixture may behave as a real gas mixture, may behave as ideal gas mixture, or it may behave a mixture of gases which behaves like ideal solution. All these things are important. There is a real gas mixture which is where we have not taken any ideality, means components and mixture as such, they are not behaving as ideal gas, and as such the mixture itself is not ideal gas. So that is a real gas solution. There could be a situation where this gaseous mixture can be taken as one single ideal gas, so that the mixture is behaving like an ideal gas. So in that case, the fugacity coefficient will be 1. Now if you have this gaseous mixture not like an ideal gas but only ideal solution, so the behavior of ideal solution, it should follow in a liquid phase, it should follow Lewis-Randall rule, or in gas state the fugacity coefficient for a mixture, gaseous mixture which behave as ideal solution, its fugacity coefficient of any component will be equal to the fugacity coefficient in pure state. Phi I cap is equal to phi I. So that is another situation. So you should not get confused that any gaseous mixture, if you consider it ideal gas, it is means ideal gas solution mixture is a specific condition where it is following the ideal solution behavior also and ideal gas mixture also. It is one more requirement on ideal solution, that the ideal solution behaves as an ideal gas also. Then only you can make phi I cap equal to 1. Otherwise you have to make phi I cap, means fugacity coefficient of component I in gaseous mixture, equal to fugacity coefficient in pure state. So until unless it is ideal gas, you cannot make a phi I cap equal to 1. So that all those simplification, if you do, you obtain these relations, means for gas phases. So here earlier we have written here this one, these things. Okay, so now if you have a liquid phase reaction, where you have a difference in pressures in standard state and actual state, you can write this one. So I just told you that Gi minus Gi naught can be written as RT equal to Fi over Fi naught. So this is for pure component. You have taken the pure component from standard state pressure to the actual reaction pressure. This is a pure component. So this can be written like this. And now dg, this also can be written dg equal to vdp. So you integrate it and from pressure p. So this is useful for calculation of ratio of fugacity coefficient, because you in the expression itself you have this one, this. So you want to calculate this Fi cap over Fi naught precisely, because this Fi cap becomes gamma I xi Fi. So ultimately within this you have gamma I xi Fi over Fi naught. So you want to calculate this Fi over Fi naught. So this is to be calculated for liquid mixture. So you have to consider the change in the pressure. Now here this dg can be written two ways. Dg equal to RT ln F. So you can integrate with that, and you can also write dg equal to vdp simply. So because v is constant here, almost means this volume of the liquid remains constant. So this you can relate. So these two things are equal, this expression and this expression. So this ln Fi over Fi naught can be calculated. So this, now if you put this Fi over Fi naught, you get this expression. So in the definition of K itself, you substitute this value. So you get this one, because pi I xi to the power gamma I equal to K. Now this becomes, if you substitute here, so you get this one. So this exponential term will be significant when the pressure differences are large. So this is also now explained to you. Now further, for liquid solution, there is another case where the concentrations of a component is very less. So you know Lewis-Randall rule will be followed only when the purity almost the solute is present in almost pure form, means it's very concentrated solution. So at high concentrations, the Lewis-Randall rule will be followed. If the concentration of solute are very less, then you do not have a follow-up of Lewis-Randall rule, and then you have to follow the Henry's law. You know, this Henry's law. Now, how do you write this Henry's law? That fugacity of any component in the solution will be given by proportionality constant, means Ki multiplied with its molality. It is a mole fraction. In fact, it is a concentration. So this is a valid expression up to the 1 mole of the solute concentration. Okay, so if you compare the actual state with the standard state, which is at up to a 1 mole, so there is a huge noise coming from outside. Ignore all those things. This get it's a usual feature nowadays. So you have to assume a hypothetical state of the solution when the molality of the solute is 1. So Henry law is followed for this dash line. So if you have a molality versus fugacity, you know this fugacity is proportional to molality. So if this Henry's constant, this Ki in fact will be achieved when the molality Mi equal to 1. So fugacity when it becomes equal to the Ki for the Mi equal to 1. So this is the dashed line, but actual behavior of the fugacity as a function of molality is this dark line. So what is the simplification done here? That for low concentration you can always assume in this region Henry's law to be followed, and this constant here, this will be calculated by hypothetical state when you consider this concentration 1. So this way, if you write Mi equal to 1, so that fugacity becomes equal to Ki, and that is your Henry's kind of constant. So it's a slope of that line. Now this Mi you can put 1 and this becomes Ki. So in that case, Fi equal to Ki-Mi and this can be written. So the ratio of this fugacity becomes equal to the molality of the solute. So this simplification is applied in case of dilute solutions. Okay, so this is also to be discussed. Now we talk about equilibrium convergence for single reactions. So there are, see, consider a scenario. What is the scenario? That a chemical reaction is happening. This chemical reaction may contain multiple reactions, not single reaction. One situation is that any reacting system may have multiple reactions going on simultaneously. And moreover, this reaction system may have only one phase of reaction, or it may be multi-phase reaction, which is called heterogeneous reaction. So liquid may be in equilibrium with the vapor and solid and all those things may be present. So what you have that in single phase homogeneous reactions, you have a simple situation and you can apply these all expressions for equilibrium constant and relating to compositions. You have to apply only the single criteria of chemical reaction equilibrium for single homogeneous reactions. Now for heterogeneous reactions, you have another condition to be followed, because this see, if you are interested in calculation of the composition at equilibrium, then you have to consider not only the chemical reaction equilibrium but the phase equilibrium also. For any component, you have to consider a phase equilibrium criteria also. So when the total system is in equilibrium, so there will be requirement of satisfying two criteria. One is phase equilibrium criteria, another is chemical reaction equilibrium. Anyone can tell me what is the phase equilibrium criteria for any component present in a gaseous mixture or solution? Can you tell me what is the requirement of phase equilibrium?
The chemical potentials are same.
Chemical potentials are same, correct. And if this is your about mixtures and solutions. Now if there is a pure component and it is having two phases in equilibrium, what do you say this criteria? How do you say this criteria? Who answered, Vaishali or
So Sejal.
Sejal? So now you talked about a component present in gaseous mixture or liquid solution. So whenever there is a mixture or solution, this criteria is there. Chemical potential in all phases should be equal for any component. Now if there is only one component, it is a pure system, there is no mixture or solution, and there are multiple phases of the same system, like water is there in liquid form and it is there in vapor form also. And this liquid and vapor both are in equilibrium. So how do you say the same phase equilibrium criteria? Can you use the term chemical potential? What you have to say precisely? When the component is pure, it is not present in mixture, and system is only made of only one component. Any answer? Neha? Neha Sharma. Sage left, I think. Not visible. Apurva, can you please tell?
Sir, let me think.
Manisha, can you try?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the how to define a criteria of phase equilibrium for pure component, pure substance. So this was answer
So
from.
chemical potentials are same.
I'm talking about a system which is made of only one component, single component, pure.
सुपरस्क्रिप्ट अल्फा एंड बीटा उसका
No, did you forget this one? So in the very beginning, I told you in chapter 6, the phase equilibrium. There I did not talk about the mixtures or solutions. It was a chapter related to the pure substance. Chapter 6, you can look in your textbook. So this is about pure substances, and there I explained that the Gibbs energy of any component will be equal in all phases. So Gi alpha is equal to Gi beta. Do you remember? Because you cannot have a partial molar Gibbs energy, that means chemical potential, because it is not present in mixture. So partial molar term or chemical potential term will come, means partial molar Gibbs energy, that is chemical potential. This term is valid when you have mixture or solution, and when it is pure substance, you have simply Gibbs energy. Do you understand this now? Sajal, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So now speak the criteria of phase equilibrium for single component system. Say. What did just I answer right now?
So Gibbs energies are same.
Complete the statement. Gibbs energies are same. What means? Means where they are same.
So for
Suppose,
pure component,
yeah, so pure component Gibbs energies are same. Where they are same means you have to compare these values, multiple values. So then only you can say same. So means I just want to know whether you understand this statement or not. Gibbs energies are same where they are same. Anuj, please. Anuj, you want to answer? Now people have started leaving meeting. I see. This always happens whenever I proceed in the class, people start leaving. And then again suddenly they will appear at the end. This is very bad. Anuj, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So can you speak this criteria for a single component system? There are, suppose there are alpha, beta and gamma, 3 phases present, solid, liquid or gas. These are the names for any component. Suppose component is water. So if it is in equilibrium system, what is the criteria of Gibbs energy? Speak. Shivansmi, can you speak?
yes, sir.
Please speak. Sajal gave the statement for chemical potential being same in all phases. So you have to add this term. See, you have to say that the chemical potential of a component is same in all phases. So you are not saying this statement in all phases. Then only the similarity term can be applied. So similarly for pure component system, the Gibbs energy of any component will be same in all phases. Do you understand, Sajal, now?
Yes, sir.
See, this is a science. You cannot use loose terms. You should ask me whenever I teach you in the class. You should ask me what does it mean. If people are not raising question, never they are asking. Nobody is raising the hand that I don't understand. Hardly sometime. I think very few people are there who ask the question. So you should ask the questions whenever we are proceeding. So if something is not clear. So what we are doing now, let us see. So just I told that if it is a homogeneous system, you have for chemical reactions, there is no phase, other phase present, so there is no question of phase equilibrium. So simply you can apply these law. Now for heterogeneous system where multiple phases are present, and if it is equilibrium system, then you have to write relation of phase equilibrium along with the relation of chemical reaction equilibrium. Okay, so that is the thing. Shraddha has written G alpha equal to G beta. So what are these alpha and beta, Shraddha?
सर फेसेस हैं सर सॉलिड लिक्विड और गैस हम दो सब्सटेंस का लिए थे सर जैसे सर सॉलिड और गैस का.
So not two substances. You should not say two substances. You should say
phases.
two phases because substance is same. Substance is same. Yeah. Okay, so let us proceed. So that is the difference. So just I told you homogeneous system and heterogeneous system. So for single reactions, and if you take homogeneous system, you can solve this example, 14.5. So this carbon monoxide and water. So this is called water gas shift reaction, very popular water gas shift reaction, where the monoxide is further being converted to carbon dioxide, and this water is contributing to the hydrogen. So CO plus H2O in gaseous phase, carbon dioxide plus. So this reaction is used after in making hydrogen from the water. And this is a reforming reactions where from a fuel, carbonaceous fuel, you use C plus H2O to make carbon monoxide, dioxide, and hydrogen. Mainly your purpose is to make synthesis gas. So you have CO plus H2. So if you want to further reduce the quantity of CO, you use this reaction. This is very popular reaction. Steam reforming reaction and water gas shift reaction. These two reactions you should always remember. So reforming through steam means if you put the steam on some carbonaceous material, carbon material, so this will give you CO plus CO2 plus H2. And this CO can be further converted to means contribute to hydrogen. Again, then the CO will react with steam, and this will give you this. So CO gets oxidized to give you CO2, water gets deoxidized to give hydrogen. So and this is a reduction in fact. So this is carried out in several sets of conditions enumerated below. So these are the conditions. Calculate the fraction of steam reacted in each case. Assume the mixture behaves as an ideal gas. So here it is asking fraction reacted of steam. So what is that? Steam, this one. Steam is this. So you have to calculate fractional conversion. So how much is the initial amount? How much is the amount after a certain time? Then what is the difference? And the ratio, if you take this difference divided by initial amount, will be fraction. So can you calculate fractional conversion from the earlier any equation that you have learned? Let me show you. So this is your equation here. Suppose this is a single reaction going on, and you have already learned this expression, how to calculate the mole fraction of a component after a progress of reaction. So suppose there is a progress epsilon, you have written this expression. Sorry, this we have to do the so we have this one. Look at this 14.7. This is for multiple reaction, or if you talk about single reaction, this is here 14.5. Please read this 14. Do you understand this 14.5 equation? This is a mole fraction of any component, whether reactant or product, which is present after the progress of reaction. How much is the progress of reaction here? Can anyone tell which particular symbol is showing the progress of reaction? Divya Singh, can you tell me? In this expression, which expression is showing the progress of reaction? Divya Singh.
Yes, sir.
Give the answer. How do you know the progress variable here? Which one is the progress variable? How do you know the how much progress means from 0 to 100%? So this is a percentage progress if you want to measure. Now here, which symbol in this expression, in this equation, is showing the progress of reaction? What is this epsilon here? Tell me, what is the epsilon here? What do you name? You don't know name of the epsilon. Atul Kumar, can you answer? Atul
Sir,
Kumar.
epsilon is reaction coordinate.
So I am asking which symbol is a measure of progress of reaction. What is your answer? Which symbol? स्पीकर ऑन करिए, माइक्रोफोन ऑन करके रखिए. Why do you stop it? Keep it on. Yeah, please tell me. Epsilon. What do you say? Why do you stop it again and again? Microphone on करके रखिए. हाँ, yes, keep it on. So epsilon is the measure of progress of reaction. What are other names of this epsilon? One is, I just told you, reaction coordinate. What are other names of epsilon? What are other names of epsilon? Please note it somewhere. If this is there in your book, you should, this is in there in your footnote, in fact. So one meaning of epsilon is reaction coordinate. Other nomenclature says that this is also known as progress variable. This is known by many other different names. Reaction coordinate, progress variable, degree of advancement. Write down somewhere. Degree of advancement, degree of reaction. You know the molarity of sorry, molecularity of the reaction and order of reaction. And then third term you can add in that in your understanding you can join means add your understanding. There are, you see, you are very well aware of these two terms. What is the molecularity of the reaction? What is the order of reaction? Everyone should find out definition and understanding of these terms. So molecularity of reaction, order of reaction, you are very well aware. So write one more term, degree of reaction. So degree of reaction is nothing but this epsilon. So that is your degree of reaction or degree of advancement or extent of reaction. Another term is extent of reaction. Are you writing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are 5 names of the epsilon symbol. This is a reaction coordinate. This is a degree of advancement, degree of reaction, extent of reaction, and progress variable. That written?
Yes, sir.
And another term is now fractional conversion. So this is a fractional conversion is different from epsilon. So so all these 5 terms were signifying same quantity, but there is now being asked in this question, what is the conversion? Fractional conversion. So can you calculate fractional conversion from this expression? Can anyone tell how to calculate fractional conversion from this expression? Suppose this mole fraction is known. So how do you define fractional conversion? Let me share a Jamboard here. So same Jamboard I am opening, that is already shared with you. Fractional conversion. Sorry. This is equal to number of moles of any component present after certain progress of the reaction. That progress, suppose this is epsilon progress. So let after progress of reaction, after some time t, you have n number of moles present for component I, and you took initially, because I being reactant, you can, so this is a conversion. That means we are talking about a reactant. So fractional conversion here we take with respect to the reactant, suppose. So there were I'm sorry. So this is your number of moles present at any moment, and initially there were certain moles present. So you write it here. And I naught. This was in the beginning. And you have a change now. You know this change. What is the change? Delta Ni. And what are the number of moles initially present? So this is called your fractional conversion. Now here this will value will be a negative value, because Ni will be less than sorry. So for reactant, you can always take this Ni earlier. So Ni naught means this should go something like this, fractional conversion. So this should become like this in a real sense. So this is only change in moles per unit, change in per unit moles present initially. Now this change has to be taken, so positive, so you take it minus. So when it is reactant, and when it is product, you can simply put this value. So for reactant, you have to define fractional conversion this way, or simply you can write it number of moles initially present minus number of moles present after certain progress of the reaction, which is epsilon divided by initial number of moles present. So this you have been calculating from your earlier classes, and this is very well known. So this expression that gives you the mole fraction of any component at a certain progress of reaction. You have Ni naught here and N naught means N number of moles. So this you can always write. So N equal to here Ni. So number of moles are equal to Ni naught, initial number of moles, and whatever change has taken place. Okay. So Ni equal to Ni naught and plus whatever change has taken place. So change is always given as nu into epsilon, that you know. So for component I, epsilon is progress. So this is not having any subscript, because this is this epsilon is defined as dni over nu I. So this is equal for all I, j, k or any species. You note what is this epsilon? This is known to you. Epsilon is change in, means in a integral form. Let me write delta Ni, change in the divided by stoichiometric number, and this is equal for any substance, means whatever is present in the, so N J divided by nu J. Okay, and so on. Whatever component are present, right? So this way you can calculate fractional conversion. So these things are to be calculated. So if you attempt this, let me sorry. So you can solve this. Now let me ask you, what is the conversion at equilibrium condition? So how do you use this expression? So here this expression, same expression can be used. This expression can be used for finding out equilibrium condition. So what is the mole fraction at equilibrium? So this is here the mole fraction at certain progress of reaction epsilon. So at equilibrium, this epsilon is replaced by epsilon E, the extent of progress up to the equilibrium. इक्विलिब्रियम तक पहुंचने में कितना ये एप्सिलॉन की वैल्यू होगी, उसको हमने एप्सिलॉन ई, एप्सिलॉन सबस्क्रिप्ट ई से लिखा जा सकता है. सो इक्विलिब्रियम का फ्रैक्शन ऑफ कंपोनेंट आई विल बी वाई आई ई. सुपर इधर एक सबस्क्रिप्ट आप लगा सकते हैं और यहाँ पर एप्सिलॉन की जगह आप एप्सिलॉन ई लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो वो आप इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन के लिए भी यही फार्मूला आप यूज कर सकते हैं. ये एप्सिलॉन कन्वर्जन के लिए है, लेकिन एप्सिलॉन प्रोग्रेस के लिए, तो इक्विलिब्रियम प्रोग्रेस के लिए एप्सिलॉन ई के लिए भी यही फार्मूला आप लगाएंगे. और आप देखिए कि ये आप कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे. एग्जाम्पल नंबर 14 पॉइंट कितना है, लेट मी शो. So this is so कहता है पहले द रिएक्टेंट कंसिस्ट ऑफ, देखिए शुरू में दे दिया रिएक्टेंट एक वेपर है 1 मोल और कार्बन मोल, दोनों को वैल्यू दे दी, टेम्परेचर इतना है, प्रेशर 1 बार सब दे दिया. तो कहता है एज्यूम द मिक्सचर बिहेव एज एन आइडियल गैस, सिंप्लीफिकेशन भी दे दिया उसने. तो आपको क्या निकालना है, कैलकुलेट द फ्रैक्शन ऑफ स्टीम रिएक्टेड. तो ये सर्टेन तो इस स्थिति में आप फ्रैक्शन ऑफ स्टीम कितना रिएक्ट होगा, मीन्स हाउ मच फ्रैक्शन इज गॉट रिएक्टेड. एंड देन ये कहता है कि प्रेशर बदल दिया, 1 बार के बजाय 10 बार कर दिया. तो आइडियल गैस यहाँ पर हमने 1 बार के लिए तो ठीक था, लेकिन 10 बार के लिए आइडियल गैस बिहेवियर लगेगा कि नहीं लगेगा, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. एंड देन यू हैव चेंज द मोल्स. तो रिएक्टेंट में नाइट्रोजन इनर्ट भी डाल दिया गया, ये इनर्ट है नाइट्रोजन, इट इज नॉट पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन द रिएक्शन, तो ये डाइल्यूट कर देगा रिएक्टेंट्स को. तो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जेंस घट जाते हैं. नाउ रिएक्टेंट्स आर 2, एंड अब इसमें स्टैक्योमेट्रिक प्रोपोर्शन में ना लेकर के किसी डिफरेंट प्रोपोर्शन में रखा है. 2 मोल ऑफ वाटर एंड 1 मोल ऑफ CO लिया गया, बाकी कंडीशन सेम है. तो ये देखिए स्टैक्योमेट्रिक प्रोपोर्शंस, देखिए पहले तो ये देखिए 1 मोल ऑफ वाटर एंड 1 मोल ऑफ मोनोऑक्साइड लिया गया, मैंने जो भी स्टैक्योमेट्रिक प्रोपोर्शन चाहिए हमको उसी वे में लिया. लेकिन इसको अगर आप डिफरेंट रेशियो में लें तो कैसे कन्वर्जन अफेक्टेड होता है. सो यू नो ऑल दीज थिंग्स थ्योरेटिकली, बट यू हैव टू प्रूव इट हियर बाय न्यूमेरिकल कैलकुलेशन. तो पहले वाटर को 2 मोल लिया, 1 मोल CO लिया, अब रिवर्स कर दिया कि 1 मोल आप वाटर ले लीजिए और CO को 2 मोल ले लीजिए, अदर कंडीशंस बीइंग सेम. तब आप निकालिए कि व्हाट इज द फ्रैक्शनल कन्वर्जन. द इनिशियल मिक्सचर कंसिस्ट ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ वाटर, 1 मोल CO एंड दिस CO2 आल्सो. सो इसमें आप प्रोडक्ट भी ले लिया, देयर इज सम प्रोडक्ट आल्सो इन द रिएक्शन मिक्सचर इन द बिगिनिंग इटसेल्फ, इनिशियल मिक्सचर. तो आपको निकालना है कन्वर्जन. और फिर कहता है कि टेम्परेचर्स हमने बजाय 1100 केल्विन के हमने रखा है टेम्परेचर 1650 केल्विन. तो क्या फर्क पड़ेगा. तो इसको सॉल्व करेंगे आप तो देखेंगे कि इट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन एंड यू कैन. ठीक है, तो देखिए के वैल्यू लगाया गया, तो दिस इज पाई आई yi टू द पावर न्यू इक्वल टू k. तो ये इस फॉर्म में आ गया, y टू द पावर न्यू लिखा गया है ये. तो हाइड्रोजन का ये इससे तो सबका चूंकि स्टैक्योमेट्रिक नंबर 1 ही है और हाइड्रोजन और मोनोऑक्साइड का -1, जबकि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का और हाइड्रोजन का एक्चुअली +1 है और CO2 का भी +1 है और मोनोऑक्साइड का -1 है और वाटर का -1. तो स्टैक्योमेट्रिक नंबर तो आप इसको लगा देंगे यहाँ पर, तो ये -1 की वजह से ये नीचे आ गए. ठीक है, तो न्यूमरेटर में चला गया. जब आप क्या एक्सप्रेशन लगाएंगे, पाई y टू द पावर न्यू. तो पाई का मतलब है प्रोडक्ट फॉर ऑल केमिकल कंपोनेंट्स, तो वो आपका आ गया. तो इक्विलिब्रियम पर उन्हीं वैल्यूज को ले लिया गया है. तो इक्विलिब्रियम वैल्यूज यहाँ पर इक्वेशन 14.5 से निकाल ली गई. इसके बाद नाउ ये देखिए क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन बनता है, तो उसके लिए इसको सॉल्व कर लेंगे. इसी तरीके से आप स्टैक्योमेट्रिक नंबर फॉर इट्स, अगर आप तो कहता है कि इंक्रीज इन प्रेशर हैज नो इफेक्ट ऑन द आइडियल गैस रिएक्शंस. तो अगर आप देखिए तो इस केस में जो भी गैसियस फेज है, इसमें अगर आप प्रेशर अभी जो प्रेशर इसने लिए हैं वो है इन द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इट इज ओनली 1 बार। अगर आप 10 बार प्रेशर कर दें तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन में? तो इसमें प्रेशर का कोई इफेक्ट देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है, क्योंकि इनका सिग्मा इसका जो रिएक्शन का एज सच न्यू है 0, तो न्यू इक्वल टू सिग्मा न्यू आई, तो कोई वॉल्यूम चेंज एज सच इफेक्टिव नहीं है, कोई नेट जो है जो फ्रैक्शनल चेंज इन वॉल्यूम है वो 0 है ना। रिएक्शन का जो न्यू है वो 0 है, बिकॉज न्यू इक्वल टू 0 पूरे रिएक्शन का ओवरऑल। द इंक्रीज इन प्रेशर हैज नो इफेक्ट ऑन आइडियल गैस रिएक्शन, तो सेम रहेगा। Nitrogen does not take part in the reaction. It has only a dilution effect. It does increase the initial number of moles. 2 से 4 total number of moles बढ़ा दिए इसने, तो and the mole fraction are reduced by factor 2. So however equation is unchanged or reduced to the same expression as before. So epsilon so ये फिर से, तो ये आर्गुमेंट से आपको साबित करना है कि ये एप्सिलॉन ही फिर नहीं बदलेगा, है ना। इनिशियल नंबर ऑफ मोल्स जरूर 2 से 4 हो गए। अगर आप उसमें नाइट्रोजन जोड़ दीजिए, सी पार्ट देखिए क्या कहता है क्वेश्चन में, सी पार्ट पढ़िए, 2 मोल नाइट्रोजन इज इंक्लूडेड, तो एडिशनल, तो नाइट्रोजन तो इधर है नहीं तो इधर इंक्लूड कर दिया, तो इस पूरे रिएक्शन मिक्सचर में 2 मोल नाइट्रोजन डालने का क्या फर्क पड़ा? इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। हाँ, रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन में जरूर फर्क पड़ता है। अगर रेट्स आप देखें तो डाइल्यूशन करने से रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन घट जाता है, लेकिन इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। तो अगर हमने कोई स्टेटमेंट दिया था अभी कि इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन कम हो जाएगा, तो उसको चेक कर लीजिए, उसको करेक्ट कर लीजिए। इनर डालने से इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा, लेकिन रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन में जरूर फर्क पड़ता है, तो इनिशियल कंपोजिशंस विल गेट डाइल्यूटेड। इसी तरीके से अगला आप अटेम्प्ट करिए तो यू विल फाइंड दैट दिस व्हिच वन इज दिस, ओके। सो रिएक्टेंट में अब ये रेशियो चेंज कर दिया, तो आप उस हिसाब से आप कैलकुलेट करिए। इनिशियल नंबर ऑफ मोल्स बदल जाने से क्या होगा, तो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन जहां पर जस्ट तो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन जो आपका पहले कितना निकला था आपका 0.5, हाउ मच इज दिस 0.5। अब देखिए इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन में क्या फर्क पड़ा, अब हो गया 0.667। अगर आप रेशियो चेंज कर दें तो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जेंस भी देखिए बदल रहा है। तो ये तरीका होता है, आप इक्विलिब्रियम बदल सकते हैं मोल फ्रैक्शन से, इनिशियल नंबर ऑफ मोल्स आप बदल करके, तो द फ्रैक्शन ऑफ स्टीम रिएक्ट्स इज देन नाउ यू कैन कैलकुलेट। सो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जेंस की वैल्यू 0.667 हो गई यहाँ पर। इसी तरह अदरवाइज बदलिए तो इसमें कहता है कि हियर द एक्सप्रेशन इंटरचेंज बट दिस लीव्स द इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन सेम बिकॉज द फ्रैक्शन ऑफ स्टीम इज रिएक्ट्स। अगर आप दूसरे तरीके से भी कैलकुलेट करें पार्ट ई के हिसाब से, तो भी आपको इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन 0.667 ही मिलेगा। अब देखिए ये लास्ट वाले पार्ट में इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन निकल के आया 0.333। तो ये लास्ट पार्ट क्या है कि अगर आप एफ नॉट द लास्ट, सेकंड लास्ट, द इनिशियल मिक्सचर कंसिस्ट ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ वाटर, 1 मोल ऑफ CO एंड 1 मोल ऑफ CO2। तो शुरू में ही आपने प्रोडक्ट कंसंट्रेशन भी ले रखा है, तो आपका इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन चेंज हो गया। फॉर्मूला वही लगाना है। इसके बाद टेम्परेचर्स बदल गए, टेम्परेचर्स बदलने से आपने K की वैल्यू जो है बदलेगी, तो ये K वैल्यू निकालिए आप। इसमें डायरेक्ट इन्होंने कैलकुलेट करके लिखा हुआ है, तो आप कैसे निकालेंगे? कैन एनीवन टेल हाउ टू कैलकुलेट K2? कि अगर टेम्परेचर T1 पर आपको K1 पता है, तो टेम्परेचर T2 पर K2 कैसे निकालेंगे? एनी आंसर? व्हाट इज द फार्मूला? कोई बताएगा हमको? Sweetie Patel, please you can speak. What is the way of calculation of equilibrium constant at a different temperature? What is the effect of temperature on equilibrium constant? ये वहां से निकल के आएगा ना. आपको क्या दिख रहा है? टेक्स्ट दिख रहा है कि आपको जैमबोर्ड दिख रहा है?
टेक्स्ट बुक।
हाँ ठीक है, बताइए स्वीटी, क्या कैसे पता लगाएंगे T1 T2 K1 K2 क्या रिलेशनशिप होती है? टेम्परेचर T1 पर आपको इक्विलिब्रियम कांस्टेंट पता है किसी रिएक्शन का, टेम्परेचर T2 पर निकालना है। बहुत एक सिंपल रिलेशन हमने आपको बताया इंटीग्रल फॉर्म में। व्हाट इज दैट? कोई भी जवाब दे क्लास में, कोई भी।
Sir, ln K2 upon K1 equal to delta H by R, 1 upon T2 minus 1 upon T1.
हाँ ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर ध्यान रखना है आपको 1/T2 ओवर, तो माइनस डेल्टा एच रहता है। हाँ, एंथैल्पी चेंज ऑफ द रिएक्शन माइनस में। अगर आप माइनस साइन नहीं लगाना चाहते तो अंदर लिखेंगे 1/T1 माइनस 1/T2। तो दैट इज द वेरी पॉपुलर वन हाफ इक्वेशन, इंटीग्रल फॉर्म में वन हाफ इक्वेशन है ये। तो दिस यू हैव टू यूज, तो आप कर सकते हैं। तो आपको ये वैल्यू आप वेरीफाई करिए कि यू गेट दिस वैल्यूज कि ln k की वैल्यू ये मिलती है, तो r k ये मिलती है। तो ये पहले टेम्परेचर 1600, पहले जो इक्विलिब्रियम कांस्टेंट की वैल्यू यहाँ से कितनी है? तो इक्विलिब्रियम कांस्टेंट की वैल्यू निकाली गई, या k इक्वल टू 1। अब k इक्वल टू 0.316 आ रहा है टेम्परेचर डिफरेंट होने की वजह से। फिर आपने उसी इक्वेशन को यूज किया और आपने इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन निकाले, तो आपने देखा कि हायर टेम्परेचर पर इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जेंस 0.5 के बजाय 0.36 हो गया। सो व्हाट इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ टेम्परेचर, व्हाट इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ प्रेशर ऑन इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जेंस? ली चैटलियर्स प्रिंसिपल आपने पढ़ा है ना, ला शातेलिए का नियम हिंदी में कहते हैं उसको। तो आई जस्ट रिमेंबर दो प्रिंसिपल्स कि जब कोई रिएक्शन ऐसी हो रही है जिसमें कि फाइनली जो है मोल्स इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं, प्रोडक्ट के मोल्स आप कैलकुलेट करिए कितने बने और रिएक्टेंट के कितने थे। तो अगर आप नेट गेन मिल रहा है आपको मोल्स में, तो आप अगर प्रेशर बढ़ाएंगे तो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन बढ़ता है। यू नो दिस प्रिंसिपल, एंड व्हेन द रिएक्शन इज, या यू मस्ट बी नोइंग, एंड इफ द रिएक्शन इज गिविंग हीट, एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्शन है, तो टेम्परेचर घटाने से इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन बढ़ता है। और रिवर्स इज देयर फॉर एंडोथर्मिक रिएक्शन। अगर वो कूल होती है रिएक्शन, एडियाबैटिक कंडीशन में कराई जाए, तो अगर एंडोथर्मिक है तो वो कूल हो जाती है। तो अगर आप टेम्परेचर्स जो है माने एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्शन में अगर आप टेम्परेचर कम रखेंगे तो आपको हायर कन्वर्जन मिलेंगे, और एंडोथर्मिक रिएक्शन टेम्परेचर बढ़ा लीजिए आप, तो आपको कन्वर्जन ज़्यादा मिलेंगे। तो आप जो इक्विलिब्रियम है वो उधर शिफ्ट होता है जिधर ये आपका रिएक्शन कंडीशन जिस तरीके से स्टैक्योमेट्री आपको बताती है। तो यहाँ पर आपको माने ये थ्योरेटिकली आपको पता होना चाहिए कि अगर आप इनर्ट डालेंगे या नंबर ऑफ मोल्स प्रेशर बढ़ाएंगे या नंबर ऑफ मोल्स चेंज करेंगे, तो यहाँ पर अभी इनर्ट डालने का कोई प्रभाव नहीं पड़ रहा है। आप देख रहे हैं कि देयर इज नो ऐसा, बिकॉज बोथ साइड देयर इज ए बैलेंस ऑफ द मोल्स। एक मोल यूज कर रहे थे और एक मोल बना है। लेकिन अगर ये डिसबैलेंस है, मैंने अगर आपका ये देयर इज सम वैल्यू ऑफ न्यू की यहाँ वैल्यू तो 0 है, सिग्मा न्यू आई किया इसलिए 0 हो गया। लेकिन अगर सिग्मा न्यू आई इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0, तो देयर यू विल हैव ए इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल ऑफ इनर्ट्स। सो वहाँ भी आप देखेंगे कि तो ये सब आपको थ्योरेटिकली जो है इफेक्ट ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर बताना। कैटालिसिस का क्या इफेक्ट है, कैटालिस्ट अगर आप डालेंगे तो क्या इफेक्ट है इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन पर? नो इफेक्ट, बिकॉज कैटालिस्ट जो है केवल रिएक्शन रेट को चेंज करता है, उसके इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन को नहीं करता। तो इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन कम ज़्यादा करने के ये तरीके हो सकते हैं। हाँ, टेम्परेचर पर डिपेंड करता है। तो टेम्परेचर देखिए आपने ये, तो इससे क्या पता लगता है अगर टेम्परेचर बढ़ाने से इक्विलिब्रियम कन्वर्जन घट करके 0.36 हो गया तो निश्चित ही ये एक एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्शन। तो ये आपको बताया मैंने होमोजेनियस रिएक्शन का सिंगल रिएक्शन का एग्जांपल लेकर के। सिमिलरली यू कैन गो फॉर हेट्रोजेनियस रिएक्शंस। तो हेट्रोजेनियस रिएक्शंस में आपको मैं एक जस्ट डिस्कशन के तौर पर मैं यहाँ पर ले रहा हूँ। हेट्रोजेनियस रिएक्शंस में ये एक्सप्रेशन आप देखिए हाउ टू, तो ये एग्जांपल आप जो है जरूर कर लीजिए, ये अच्छा है। हेट्रोजेनियस रिएक्शंस की बात यहाँ पर थोड़ी कर लेते हैं। तो इस केस में जैसे कि यहाँ पर हमने आपको बताया कि यू हैव टू कंसीडर द फेज इक्विलिब्रियम कंडीशंस आल्सो अलोंग विद द केमिकल रिएक्शन इक्विलिब्रियम। तो यहाँ पर देखिए कैसे लिखा गया है, जैसे कि ए कोई गैस है, बी एक लिक्विड है, और जो प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है वो आपका एक्वस फेज में एक सोल्यूशन है। तो ये लिक्विड सोल्यूशन है, एक्वस मीन्स वाटर में, और ये एक लिक्विड है और ये गैस है। तो इसके लिए जो आप के की वैल्यू लिखते हैं के, तो के की वैल्यू का मतलब वही पाई आई ए आई टू द पावर न्यू आई आप ऐसे लिखेंगे। तो ए आई का मतलब है उसके फ्यूगासिटीज का रेशियोज, तो जो मिक्सचर स्टेट है उसमें फ्यूगासिटी डिवाइडेड बाय प्योर कंपोनेंट फ्यूगासिटी। तो आप जब ऐसे लिखते हैं तो ये आपको इस पर्टिकुलर रिएक्शन के हिसाब से ये एक्सप्रेशन मिल जाता है। तो ये एक्सप्रेशन आप समझ लीजिए कैसे हुआ। देखिए सी के रिस्पेक्ट में ये कहता है कि यहाँ पर सी जो है ऐसा है जो कि एक्वा सोल्यूशन में है, और सी जो है हेनरीज लॉ को फॉलो करता है। तो उसके हिसाब से हम लोग देखेंगे कि तो पहले हम लोग फ्यूगासिटी के टर्म में लिखें। तो देखिए तो सी चूंकि एक्वस फेज में है तो दिस इज रेशियो ऑफ फ्यूगासिटी, और ये देखिए फ्यूगासिटी ये है आपकी बी, दिस इज योर गैसियस फेज, सॉरी लिक्विड फेज, दिस बी इज इन लिक्विड फेज एंड ए इज अगेन गैसियस। तो ये तीनों के लिए हम लोग ऐसे लिखा हम लोगों ने। अब इसको मॉडिफाई किया जाएगा, फ्यूगासिटी के रेशियो में तो हमने लिख दिया, लेकिन अब इसको फर्दर मॉडिफाई किया जा सकता है, क्योंकि ये हेनरीज लॉ को फॉलो कर रहा है। यहाँ पर इसने कंडीशन दे दी है कि सी इज ए सॉल्यूट इन आइडियल 1 मोलर एक्वस सॉल्यूशन एंड बी इज ए प्योर लिक्विड एट 1 बार, ए इज प्योर आइडियल गैस एट 1 बार। इस तरह से लिया गया है। तो सी को एक हम लोग एक्वस फेज में मान रहे हैं, और डाइल्यूट कंडीशन में ये हेनरीज लॉ फॉलो करेगा। तो ये हो गया इसकी मोलैलिटी। मोलैलिटी का मतलब है मोल्स ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर सॉल्यूट पर यूनिट किलोग्राम ऑफ द सॉल्वेंट। तो ये मोलैलिटी है यहाँ पर। तो ये सी के लिए हम लोग ये लिख सकते हैं। और ये क्या है आपका लिक्विड है, तो लिक्विड के लिए गामा बी, तो ये एक्टिविटी कोफिशिएंट आ गया इनटू एक्स बी। तो यहाँ पर ये एक्टिविटी में आपने देखा था कि जो हम लोग एक्टिविटी लिखते थे उसमें मॉडिफिकेशन करते थे मोल फ्रैक्शन में, वो वही मॉडिफिकेशन यहाँ दिख रहा है। ये इस पूरे रेशियो का लिख सकते हैं आप गामा बी एक्स बी। और ये क्या लिख सकते हैं एफ ए कैप ओवर एफ ए नॉट, बिकॉज इट इज ए गैस। तो यहाँ पर ये स्टैंडर्ड स्टेट इसकी ले ली गई है, तो ये पी हो गया इसका प्रेशर और इसकी फ्यूगासिटी, तो फ्यूगासिटी डिवाइडेड बाय, तो ये आपका एक्सप्रेशन बन जाता है। अब यहाँ पर ये कि कैन यू कैलकुलेट ऑल दोस थिंग्स। तो देखिए मोलैलिटी तो सोल्यूशन की निकाली जा सकती है, लिक्विड सोल्यूशन के लिए मोलैलिटी इज नॉट ए मेजर थिंग, मीन्स ये तो एनालिसिस की जा सकती है। के को निकालने के लिए कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे ये वैल्यूज, तो ये निकाला जा सकता है। ये एक्टिविटी कोफिशिएंट आप लिक्विड फेज में मालूम करिए, ये निकाले जा सकते हैं एक्टिविटी कोफिशिएंट। जब आपका जो सोल्यूशन है यहाँ पर इसने दिया है कि इट इज ए प्योर लिक्विड, और जब ये सोल्यूशन बन रहा है तो उसमें तो ये जो अल्टीमेटली ये जो बी कंपोनेंट है जो, तो एक्वस फेज में जो है ये जाएगा, जब रिएक्टेंट के फॉर्म में भी होगा तो आप उसकी वो निकालिए आप एक्टिविटी कोफिशिएंट निकालने का तरीका मैंने बताया, मॉडिफाइड राउल्ट्स लॉ यहाँ पर आप यूज कर सकते हैं। और ये देखिए गैसियस फेज में, तो गैसियस फेज में गैस की, तो ये तो प्रेशर्स तो नोन ही है आपके, स्टैंडर्ड प्रेशर तो पता है आपको, और ये गैस फेज में इसकी फ्यूगासिटी आप निकाल सकते हैं। तो फाई आई कैप वाई आई इंटू पी, तो ये आप निकाल सकते हैं। तो फाई आई कैप को निकालने के लिए आपको फ्यूगासिटी कोफिशिएंट की वैल्यूज को पता लगाना पड़ेगा, जो कि फ्यूगासिटी कोफिशिएंट आप ली किस्लर कोरिलेशन से मालूम कर सकते हैं। तो ये उसी का एग्जांपल यहाँ पर एक दिया गया है, तो उसको आप देख सकते हैं इस एग्जांपल को, ओके, कैसे इसमें कैलकुलेट किया गया है डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट के लिए। तो ये जो फाई आई कैप हैं, जब आप वाइपर के लिए निकालते हैं तो आपको आप जनरलाइज कोरिलेशन फैक्टर लगा सकते हैं। तो फ्यूगासिटी कोफिशिएंट के वैल्यूज आप जनरलाइज टेबल्स या चार्ट से देख सकते हैं। इन्होंने ये सब कैलकुलेट किया है यहाँ पर ना दिस। तो ये इन्होंने स्टेट ऑफ इक्वेशन पैरामीटर्स के यूज करके किया है। तो एनी हाउ जस्ट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये कैलकुलेट किया जा सकता है, तो और हमारा जो एक्सप्रेशन है वो इस तरह रिड्यूस हो जाता है। तो ये आप पढ़ लेंगे तो ठीक रहेगा। तो जस्ट मेक अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट इन हेट्रोजेनस सिस्टम यू हैव टू अप्लाई द रेशियो ऑफ फ्यूगासिटी एज पर द लिक्विड, गैस और सोल्यूशन फेज एग्जिस्टिंग। इसके बाद थोड़ा सा ये हम लास्ट में एक टॉपिक आपको ये रह गया है, तो मैं इसको भी बता देता हूँ आपको कि ये है फेज रूल एंड ड्यूहेम्स थ्योरम फॉर रिएक्टिंग सिस्टम। फेज रूल फॉर नॉन रिएक्टिंग सिस्टम्स हैज ऑलरेडी बीन एक्सप्लेन टू यू, जिसमें कि हम लोगों ने लिखते थे डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम इज इक्वल टू 2 माइनस पाई प्लस एन। तो ये है नॉन रिएक्टिंग के लिए। तो नंबर ऑफ केमिकल स्पीसीज अगर किसी सिस्टम में एन है और उसमें प्रेजेंट फेजेज पाई हैं, तो जो वेरिएबल्स हमको चाहिए, मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ वेरिएबल्स that are necessary to specify to completely define the state of a system, that is called degree of freedom. So that f is given as 2 minus pi plus n. This is for non-reacting system. This is you already aware. I've already told you. Now if the reactions are taking place, तो उसमें कुछ और वेरिएबल्स आपको आ जाते हैं, रिएक्शन वेरिएबल आ जाते हैं। तो आप किस तरह मॉडिफाई कर लेते हैं अपनी गिब्स फेज रूल की रूल को। तो दिस इज द नंबर ऑफ डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम्स, या डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम सिंपली बिकम्स 2 माइनस पाई, पाई इज द नंबर ऑफ फेजेस एंड नंबर ऑफ माइनस आर। व्हाट इज आर हियर? दिस आर इज अनदर वेरिएबल which is due to the reaction. So you can read what is this r. R is the number of reactions taking place. 1 minute, let me read it for you. If there are independent chemical reactions, see, independent chemical reactions at equilibrium within the system. Independent chemical means it is not like that a reaction is proceeding and giving birth to another reaction, and then so series or parallel reaction. So these are simply parallel reaction. In fact, independent means they are not affected by the presence of other. So they are independent chemical reactions happening, number of reactions, that if it is known, then you can write the degree of reaction like this. So this, in fact, this is a number of variables and a number of equations. So degree of freedom is nothing but number of variables that can be that are available, and the number of equations to relate those variables which can be written. So this is like this: 2 plus n minus 1 into pi, pi number of phases, and these are the equations which can be written. So these are the total number of variables and these are the total number of equations, and the difference is degree of freedom. Okay, so you can read how to write these things. So here R is greater than or equal to number of components present in the system minus number of constituent elements not present as element. So this way means you can reduce this procedure. The phase equilibrium and chemical reaction are only one's consideration the following. तो जो वेरिएबल्स हैं उनको रिलेट करने के लिए आप इक्वेशंस कौन कौन सी लिखते हैं? फेज इक्विलिब्रियम एंड रिएक्शन इक्विलिब्रियम. तो अल्टीमेटली यू रिड्यूस दिस एक्सप्रेशन 2 minus pi minus plus n minus r minus s. Suppose there is a heterogeneous reaction. So there, if there is some other constant available, means there is some other restriction in on the system. So that particular special condition of constant can also be written. So your degree of freedom gets reduced because you have to satisfy S number of conditions also. So you are having less freedom. So ultimately this equation in general form becomes F equal to 2 minus pi plus N minus R minus S. Okay, so this example you can attend. So here this is simple. There is no constant there. So the 2 minus pi you can recognize phases. So just see this. A system of two miscible non-reacting species that exist in as an azeotrope in vapor liquid. Azeotrope, you understand? It is a constant boiling. Means azeotrope is the mixture in which the composition of a particular means component is same in two phases. Then it is called azeotropic mixture. So means yi is equal to xi. The mole fraction in one phase is equal to mole fraction in another phase. So at that condition, it is azeotropic. So when you reach this azeotropic condition, you can know further separate the mixture. So your separation or purification process stops. So whatever means boiling is happening. So whatever mixture is there in liquid form, the same composition will be there in vapor form. So if you say that you are separating a more volatile component, then you have reached a maximum situation. You cannot. Now you have to adopt another mean for separating azeotropic mixture. So azeotrope is a mixture in which there is a equality of composition, and this mixture boils at a constant temperature. Because there is no further change in composition, it will keep on boiling on the same temperature, and finally the whole amount will get boiled. So there is no further separation. So this is a new term for you. Just read about azeotrope. So there are two miscible reacting species, two completely miscible. So vapor equilibrium is applicable. Then find out degree of freedom in each case. So there are certain conditions given. This is another one. So every part you can. So the system consists of two non-reacting species in two phases. So how many species are there? Two. There how many phases? Two. There is no azeotrope. There is no. So simply you can put this one. So 2 minus 2 plus 2, and there is no. So no azeotrope or reaction is also not taking place. So this is simply. So what are these two degrees of freedom? Usually temperature and pressure. So this is a result of vapor liquid equilibrium. So in vapor liquid equilibrium, you have in your control either temperature and pressure, both the situation. So with that you can manipulate the compositions. Now in the second case, there is a single reaction going on. So they read this problem. A system prepared by partially decomposing calcium carbonate into an evacuated space. So this calcium carbonate is dissociating. So one reaction is taking place and it is dissociating. So how many phases are there? So what is the dissociation reaction? This is here. COA, giving me this. So there are how many chemical species? 1, 2, and 3. So there are 3 chemical species. And how many phases are there? So this was solid one. Now this is now again in solid phase, and this is gaseous phase. So there are 3 phases. It says there's solid calcium carbonate, this one, solid calcium oxide. This is another phase. See, solid, but you can distinguish these 2 phases and gaseous carbon dioxide. Okay, so you can write this 2 minus 3 plus n number of phases and one chemical reaction going on. So degree of freedom is only 1. So what is the degree of freedom? Only the temperature, fixed temperature at what temperature you are carrying out this reaction, that is under your control. That is your degree of freedom. Now this one, this is solid here, gas here, gas here. So this is how many phases are there? Gas phases will not be separated. These 2 solid phases are separate. This solid phase and this solid phase. But gas phases get mixed. So This is only one gas phase consideration and solid. So solid and gas, there are two phases. How many chemical species are there? 1, 2, and 3. And how many chemical reactions are occurring? Only one. And what other restrictions is there? There must be some other restriction also. Let me see. System prepared by partially decomposing ammonium chloride into an evacuated space. So what condition this imposes? Part C. Three species are present, but only two phases are present, and present in this case solid ammonium chloride and a gas mixture of ammonia and HCl. In addition, a special constant is imposed by a requirement that a system be formed by decomposition of ammonium chloride. Means whatever product are there, that is due to the decomposition of this, and this means that the gas phase is equimolar. So whenever it decomposes, it releases 1 mole of ammonia, 1 mole of. So these two, this gas phase will be always, because this will remain in solid phase. So 50% will contribution of these two components will be there in gas phase. So the gas phase is equimolar in ammonia and hydrogen chloride. Thus, as a special equation, fraction of ammonia will be equal to fraction of HCl. So connecting the phase rule variables can be written. So how do you write? F equal to 2 minus pi plus n minus r minus s. This is a restriction, means special condition or specification given. So there are two SH minus pi 2 phases plus n3n minus r 1 reaction and 1 this restriction which is there imposed due to the type of chemical reaction given. So this becomes only 1. So system has only 1 degree freedom. This results is the same as that for part B, and it is a matter of experience that ammonium chloride has a given decomposition pressure at a given temperature. So this conclusion is reached. The same conclusion is reached by two different ways. Now in the fourth situation, what is there? A system consisting of gases, monoxide, dioxide, hydrogen, water, and ammonia in chemical equilibrium. So let us discuss this one. So there are 5 species, all in single gas phase. There is no separate special constant, only R remains to be determined. So formation reaction is compounds. This one. So you can calculate. So how many degree of freedom? So this is there. This is happening. This also is happening, and this also is happening. How many chemical reaction do you see? Independent chemical reactions are only 2, because G and H reactions are independent set and indicate that are equal. So this okay. So you can read this one. Systematic elimination of C and the elements not present in the same leads to 2 equations. One such pair of equation is obtained in the following way: elimination of C from the set of the equation and by combining. So you can write all those possible reactions. C plus O2 gives you CO2, this gives you here, this gives you here, and this gives you here. So ultimately you have this one. So ultimately you get these 2 independent reactions only. So 2 minus pi plus n minus r. So 2 minus 1 and this one. So independent. So there is no special constant. There is 4 degree of freedom. So what are those 4? This is huge, means 4 is rarely obtained. So temperature, pressure. So this 2 is obvious degree, means whatever temperature you want to set, you can, and whatever pressure you want to set, you can. So temperature, pressures are in your hand. It means that the one is free to specify 4 phase rule variables: temperature, pressure, and what else? 2 mole fractions in equilibrium. So you can specify another 2 mole fractions in equilibrium arbitrarily in an independent way. Okay, so you can discuss all those things. Now, Duhem in connection with that, Duhem's theorem for non-reacting systems that was developed in 12.2 section, it can be also referred. So what it says that for any closed system formally initially given masses or particular chemical says the equilibrium state is completely determined. So whatever state we are talking about, that may be extensive as well as intensive state by specification of any two independent variable. So this theorem gives the difference between the number of independent variables and completely determine the state of system and number of independent equations that can be written. So number of variables and number of equations. So that gives you two. So whenever you have a such system that describes non-interacting system, okay, Duhem's theorem. When chemical reactions occur, there is a new variable introduced in the material balance equation. So there is an appearance of new variable. So in that case, the difference between the number of variables and the number of equations therefore is unchanged, and that Duhem's theorem is originally stated originally holds for reacting system as well for non. So whatever Duhem's theorem was there true for non-reacting system, it is true also for reacting system, and the argument has been given here. So you can read through. So because what do you say about Duhem's theorem? That it should be at constant temperature and pressure. And Duhem's theorem, I told to you, what it says that Gibbs-Duhem rule, which was applicable as constant temperature and pressure for partial molar property. Now this Duhem's theorem stated that if you remember Gibbs theorem, so here the partial molar property of a component was given as a equal to its property in pure state at a partial pressure. Now here for the phase rule also Gibbs-Duhem theorem can be imposed on this phase rule. So you should be able to write the degree of freedom in two conditions. One condition where there is no reactions happening, so that is simply F equal to 2 minus pi plus N. And if there is any reaction happening in the system, so it becomes F equal to 2 minus pi plus N minus R. And if there is any other constant which is imposed on the system, you should subtract that also. Okay. So just go through. Simply, I just expect you to just remember these statements only, not much. In multi-reaction equilibrium, you can read all these through, because now this is about reactions happening simultaneously. Not single reaction is happening, but number of reactions. So the same expression will be applicable, only you have to sum it over for all chemical reactions. So you have to sum for, means you have to consider not only one reaction but all reactions. So any K which is written for a jth reaction will be written like this. So Fi cap over, so this is your gas phase type of reaction. So here look at this new I J, means component I which is participating in jth reaction. So that symbol will also come in picture in multi-reaction kind of things. So if you have to just remember this expression, that if you write for a particular reaction, so suppose there is only one reaction, so you need not to write any subscript. But for multi-reaction, you need to write a subscript simply. That is the only thing I want to impress upon you. So here, for gas phase reaction, the equation becomes like this for equilibrium constant. Okay, so this way you should be able to just understand what has been discussed there. So you can try few numerical problems. Particularly, I will say that you should begin with leave all these portions. They are not necessary much. Means fuel cells also you can omit. There is no requirement. Means just come to the exercise. You just read synopsis also. It is useful for. So this 14.1 you should solve. It is very simple. Means you have to find out the fractional amount of the substance. So mole fractions of reactants will calculate. So when the reactions are given. Similarly, second question also you can attempt. So all simple questions you should try first. I will give you specific examples to solve. This also you can solve. Ammonia formation reaction. So equilibrium progress of reaction can be written like this. 14.9 you should try. Then I will tell you later some other problems that are good for you. So this also 14.13. Single reaction is happening, temperature, pressure are given, initial moles are given. What is the composition of system at equilibrium? What would be the effect of reducing the pressure to 1 bar? So here 1 mole giving you only 1 mole. So here there are 2 moles, here 1 mole. So if you reduce the pressure, what will happen? The equilibrium conversion will go down because you need to increase the pressure. Because here there are 2 moles, 1 and 1, giving you 1 mole. So if you increase this pressure, so you need means ultimately the pressure will get decreased. So if you means calculate what is the new, it is value here +1, -1, -1, it is -1. So if you are increasing the pressure, so then only the conversion will be higher. If you decrease, it will be opposite. So this way you can interpret, looking at the stoichiometry also, you can interpret what will be the effect of temperature and pressure on the given reaction. So fine, this way, let me finish this topic also. I will give you certain selected examples and questions for your home assignment. Okay, so I will stop here.